Sawadee Cup and welcome to another Thailand Tuesday here for the Funky Pod. It's been a while, I know. I'm sorry. Kotot Nakap, it means I'm sorry in Thai language. Many things are happening. I hope I can implement all those things here in Thailand Tuesday. Many interviews lined up. So I got some cool feedback for my interview with the doctor that I have here on the channel. So that apparently is something that you guys liked. So now I lined up a few more interviews so that I'm gonna be on the channel rather soon, all with like people in Thailand, around Thailand, related to Thailand. So thanks to you. So I appreciate the feedback. I actually planned last week to have a podcast like from an idyllic island here in Thailand, because I went for a quick trip. Now that I'm fully vaccinated, I went on a quick trip. That's a different story, by the way. I'm going to tell you the story in a second. So the vaccination story, fantastic. Anyways, I went on a quick trip here. Idyllic island, no one there, of course, or basically almost no one there right now, because tourism is not a big thing right now because of COVID, of course. So I went to from this island, took a boat out 30-45 minutes into the sea on a small, super lonely, idyllic island. Most beautiful beach you've ever seen. I did not know that we have such beautiful beaches in Thailand. I'm not kidding. I've been here for a decade and I've never seen a beach like this in Thailand. For me, Thai beaches are but this beach came close to what I consider to be the most beautiful beach I've ever been on, which was Whitehaven Beach in Australia, Great Barrier Reef. So this, for me, to this date, has been the most impressive beach, most beautiful beach I've ever been on. This beach is not the same, but it moved into the direction. So it's the second nicest beach I've ever seen in my life in person so far. And it's in Thailand, which is confusing because I thought I know everything in Thailand, but I've never seen this beach before. So this beach was fantastic. Went there with a boat, two of us went there with two guys on a boat, the guys who operate the boat. And then they kicked us out at different spots and we were snorkeling. It's so clear. Oh my God, so beautiful. Because right now there's no tourism, no diving tourism neither. Because if there's lots of diving, then of course it also influences how the fish operate and so on, whatever. You understand me, right? So because there's not many tourists, there's so many fish. You just put your head underwater and it's the amount of colors that are in your face. It's just fantastic. And I'm not a big diver. I prefer skydiving over scuba diving. But even I have to say, and I just went snorkeling. I didn't even go diving, but just snorkeling. But you just snorkel, just put your head underwater and you're in a different world. And it's so clear. COVID was good for the environment because it's so clear. It's ridiculous. We've been snorkeling around and you're oh my God, oh. Amazing. I can't even say how awesome it was. And then we also they brought us to not only snorkel but also to a few beaches, islands, very lonely island. If you know, you know. Because I was on a boat. Motherfucking. You know it. So then we went to this beautiful beach, this small little island, beautiful. They brought some pineapple, how cheesy this is, cut pineapple under palm trees, this blue water. Oh my God. A few sand fleas though, so yeah, be aware of this. If you go where I went, it's all on my Thai org, so check it out. Sand fleas, so be prepared, maybe have some spray or something, and then you're good. So it was beautiful. And then from this island, we went to the next island. And then the next island was this cliche island. The one that we was before was just a beautiful, I don't know. But then the next one, I don't know how to explain it, it's just beautiful. But the next one was this long beach with those palms hanging over the beach, like what you see in those cheesy Hollywood movies. It looked like that, right? So we went on there, and then the boat guys were okay, you guys do what you want over there. Just call us when you need us. And so they've been we walked for 10 minutes on the beach, so we had our thing for ourselves and so on. And they went into the water in this beautiful beach, and I had a few flies on my head. And then I was okay, I need to need to get rid of the flies. My girlfriend said like, yeah, just jump in the water, get wet, and then the flies are gone. I'm like, okay. So I jump in the water to get my head wet and make the flies disappear. And while I jump underwater, I step onto a sea urchin. First time in my life. I didn't even think about sea urchins. Like I was like, I never had anything happen to me ever in the ocean. Never. So I'm like, okay, and I stepped on it, and there was so much pain. I can't even explain it. And I'm used to getting kicked or punched in the face, kicked in the ribs, and it like for Muay Thai, right? I had a broken rib in Muay Thai and other injuries, and people who do martial arts understand. Or any sports. I played volleyball forever. I broke my ankles. Like I had all those injuries, and they all hurt like crazy, but not as much as this, because the broken bones, at least you understand. You're like, oh, impact, shit, this happened. This, you can't even see it, so small. The sting is so small. It hurts so much. I had so much. And my girlfriend was like, what's happening? I'm like, I stepped on something. And she's like, I stepped on a stone. I'm like, no, it's not a stone. I get mad. I was punching the sand. I had so much pain. I didn't know what to do. I was just punching the sand. And then after like 5 minutes of me suffering there and almost crying, but being more angry and mad and like, she called the guy from the boat. The guy from the boat came like with like this, how to call it, like this liquid that disinfects like wounds, like in case you scratch something or whatever. I'm like, that doesn't help right now. I'm keep yelling and screaming, and he thinks I'm like just some stupid foreigner who exaggerates, who stepped on a stone or whatever, or like a coral. Now I'm like, it hurts much more. It wasn't just a freaking coral. You know, the corals can also really hurt, of course. So then they give me like, they had like paracetamol with them. So they give me 2 paracetamol, didn't do anything. Like the pain was still insane. So he's like, okay, let's just take this guy to land. So then I was lying on the boat, like kind of like on my hands, like just, so much pain. Like I felt like I'm going to throw up any moment. I'm going to faint. I was like, will I throw up? Will I faint? What's going to happen first? Then it took like 40 minutes to go get to the coast. Then there's a small clinic at the coast. They're like, oh yeah, shit. I'm like, yeah, thank you. So they just put a bandage around it, but like, we can't do much. My foot was swollen like crazy, like all blue and stuff. So they're like, maybe it's broken. I'm like, yeah, maybe it's broken, because I didn't know any better. So I think my toes are broken, right? So then, like, oh shit, okay, I have to go to the real hospital. There are like 2 hospitals on the island. One is international hospital, like 30 minutes away. The other one is a local hospital, like 45 minutes away. I'm like, let's go to the international hospital. It's going to be more expensive, but whatever, let's go there. So then 30 minutes by car to go there. I'm like, yeah, gotta x-ray this because I think it's broken, because they told me it's broken. It's like all blue, and they're like, are you sure it's not a sea urchin? I'm like, yeah, it's not a sea urchin. They said it's broken, the other clinic. I'm like, okay, so they x-ray it, can't see anything on the x-ray. It's like, no, x-ray is fine, there's nothing broken. Like, it must be a sea urchin. I'm like, oh fuck, sorry. So then they clean the wound and everything. It's like, he's like, oh yeah, there's something coming out, like it looks like from the sea urchin. I'll give you, like, first put your foot in hot water and like some acid stuff, so that kind of like, I don't know how it works. So like with like, it soaks out the poison. I'm not sure how it works, to be honest. I'm not sure. And then they give me like a shitload of medicine, like antibiotics, like pain. They don't call it painkillers anymore. They call it pain control. So they give me pain controllers. They give it to me like via injection, and they didn't know. Like they tried 5 times to hit my veins. It's in the vein. It fucking hurt. I'm sorry for the effort, but when I think about just the pain again, it hurts because they didn't hit it like right, and they tried to push it like in there. Oh god, when I talk about it, I'm still hurt. It hurts. So they tried like 5 different ways, and then eventually they went for like the in the upper arm where it's easier, and then they went for that, and then they gave me some whatever it is it cortisone? I'm not sure what you get, like pain control to ease the pain. Didn't really work. I'm not sure. Like, I still felt like very much in pain. Okay, they gave me all the stuff. It took like 30 minutes or so. Most annoying thing is no aircon in the hospital. I'm like, I'm about to faint. Can someone turn on the air conditioner? It's so freaking hot. There's no air conditioner. They have like a fan that like rotates in like slow motion. Like, can you at least make the fan go faster? Like, we can't. It's the international hospital, Bangkok Hospital, by the way. International hospital on the island. and they can't make the fan go faster. They were literally, I was being treated, mosquitoes landing on me and biting me while I was being treated in the hospital. You gotta make sure that I get malaria too or something like what. That was really annoying. And it's a really expensive hospital. 30 minutes in there in the hospital with getting the medicine and stuff. After 30 minutes, he's like, okay, now we have your food in there. You go home, take the medicine, keep your food up, come back tomorrow to check to see like how things are developing. Then you're good. 30 minutes treatment, almost 8,000 baht. If you're not in Thailand, calculate it. Like, what in the world? And then you don't even have aircon or a fan that goes faster. That was really annoying. Like it was like, I mean, because you're in pain, you're sweating, like I'm fainting, and then you have like mosquitoes landing on you. Like what in the world, people? Seriously, what are we doing? Okay, then I went back to the place where I stayed. Put my feet up, ate some pizza because I need some happy food when you're hurt, of course. Still hurt. The food still hurt. Like you touch it, it hurts. I had my foot up on a pillow or 2 pillows and so on. And then went there the next day in the morning. They checked it, like said, okay, now nothing is coming out anymore of the wound. It's all good. You just need to take the medicine, rest it, have it always up, and then you're okay. So thank you. That didn't cost anything. So thank you very much. Those 5 minutes of consultation didn't cost anything. I appreciate that. Okay, that was that. So then they said, okay, now you can go into the water if you want to, just dry it afterwards, but it's gonna be okay. Okay, so then went to a pharmacy, just got like a Band-Aid, like a waterproof Band-Aid just in case. And then I actually went to a spa. And I never go to spas, but this time I'm like, I mean, what else should I be doing? It was a special offer for a spa that we saw, so I went just to a spa. And it was actually really enjoyable. And don't want to admit it, it's also on my website, mythai.org, mythai.org, is a review of the spa because I actually really enjoyed it. It's not promoted. I didn't get anything from them. It was really nice. I don't tell any one of my Muay Thai guys that I went to a spa. Anyways, so I was just limping around basically the whole time. My foot too big to fit into a shoe. Yeah, that was that sea urchin adventure. Now I record this podcast 8 days after, and it's still swollen. So it fits in a shoe now, but it's still swollen. And I'm almost done with all the medicine. I still have some anti-inflammatory medicine left that I have to take until the end, I believe. I think 3 more days. But then that's it. So I'm done with the antibiotics, done with the pain controllers, and all those things. Yeah. Whew, so yeah, the trip was awesome though. But this on a sea urchin, like I'm not kidding, and I mean I'm sorry for the sea urchin. I don't want to hate on you. My friend said, one of my friends said it's like revenge because you always pee in their living room. I mean, that's fair enough. I've been peeing in the living room for like quite a few decades, so I mean I guess it's fair enough that they just get back at me once. But next time I'm gonna go in there with shoes, people, like those ugly ass like sea swimming shoes or whatever you call them, because that pain. And I mean, it's still swollen today. Like I'm still limping. I just went to 7-Eleven and came back, and it's still limping. It's like my leg, like my whole leg is still swollen. Don't do this at home. Is what I'm trying to say. All right. So but yeah, now it's better, and yeah. I still have like this, it hurts in my head when I just think about it. Okay, but that's it. I hope my foot's going to feel better now day by day, and then I hope I can continue going back to hopefully Muay Thai and things like this. Because we are about to open up slowly here in Thailand again. So now open air sports is allowed. I wonder if that's also for Muay Thai. Like my actual Muay Thai gym just closed down, so they're moving to a different place, so they're not open again. So maybe I have to find a different gym. I haven't checked yet if others are open. But like for example, beach volleyball, what I also play is open already. I mean, I can play it right now, but eventually, hopefully. So yeah, it's slowly opening again. You can eat again in restaurants, like just social distancing and so on, and still only until 8 p.m. But yeah, slowly opening again because Thailand has a new approach. They say we have to learn to live with COVID, not just try to wait until it goes away. It's never going to go away. We have to learn to live with it now. So that's the new approach here in Thailand. It's also why they want to open up for tourism again completely in October, I believe. So that's the approach over here now. So I just said in the beginning that I'm now fully vaccinated, meaning I didn't get a booster yet, but I had 2 vaccinations of AstraZeneca. And the second one, so the first one was like, I also said it here on this channel, like perfectly well organized. Sometime in June, I believe it was, well organized, fantastic, like super easy. The second one was just the opposite. It was like in an army center, military center or something, which is not a bad thing. But I mean, you come in there, you're under like a tent, outside, it's hot. Okay, whatever. Yeah, as long as I get a vaccine, whatever. But then. So they didn't tell me that I have to bring my work permit for everything. So I didn't bring my work permit, but I have my staff ID. I'm like, here, that's my staff ID, so you can see that I have a work permit and blah, blah, and so on. So that took like 10 minutes, but eventually, okay, got it, you can go inside. Then I was inside, and this is not a knock on the vaccination protocol or the people there. It's just a knock on the system behind it, the healthcare system, because they now found me in this. First, they didn't find my name in the system. I'm like, but I got the reminder SMS that I have to be here today. So, and there's a QR code that you can track my vaccination. They're like, yeah, but something's not right. I'm not quite sure what, because then they couldn't speak English well enough. I couldn't speak. For this, I can speak Thai well enough. But for what I understood, like I think I got like 70% of the conversation. So from what I understood is they found my name associated with a different employer in their system, because I had a different employer before I moved to my current employer. Well, that's how life goes, right? But apparently my current employer didn't change it or didn't request a change. They just created a new social security number for me. So now I have basically 2 social security numbers. It's not updated in the system. So they couldn't fix that day. They're like, yeah, we see the problem, but if we can't fix it, come back whenever. So then I had to chat with like the social security office, because it's easier to text with them than to call, so that you can translate each other's messages easier. Then like, hey, we're going to fix this for you. So I am appreciative towards the social security officer. Thank you very much. It was really nice. Then they fixed whatever they had to fix. And they gave me an appointment for the week after. So then I went in there the week after. They then had me in the system, and then everything went within worked within like 10 minutes, and then just 30 minutes waiting if side effects happen, and then that's it. So now I have like the papers that I'm fully vaccinated. Now the papers I carry with me all the freaking time, because there's an app here too, but the app doesn't work with my social security number again. It's not updated apparently. So I carry those papers around that say I have 2 vaccinations. And for example, the spa that I mentioned earlier, they actually checked it. They're like, hey, you're vaccinated? I'm like, yeah, can you prove it? Yeah, here. Yeah, okay, now you can come in. So now I'm carrying around those papers all the time. Yeah, so that's just a quick vaccination COVID update here for Thailand. I don't want to spend too much time always talking about COVID, especially now that Thailand slowly opens up again. I will just give you some quick updates like this right now, and then we move on to hopefully more pressing topics or more interesting topics as they go back to the new normal. All right, that's it from me for this week for the Thailand Tuesday. So I'm basically just saying I'm back after the sea urchin incident. If there's something in particular that you want to hear, someone that you want me to interview, shout out. Interviews are lined up now. They shall be published soon. Until then, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow FunkItPod on social media. Send me messages, funkitpod@gmail.com, and rate this podcast, because this really helps. So on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, on YouTube, leave a review. This really helps to be found. It's very much appreciated. Thank you very much. Until then, take care, stay safe. Chok di. Sawadee ka.